Hey, hello, I'm Kråkan, also known as Corvus Cornix, and welcome to Yacc, yet another Crowcast where I pick a game, I play it for a week, and then I talk about it. This week's game is Halo 3 ODST. It was released in 2009 for the Xbox 360, and it's an FPS. Developed by Bungie and published by Microsoft Game Studios, and there will be spoilers up ahead, just so you know, but first a little backstory. So some weeks ago I asked my coworkers if they had any retro games in their closets, and then I totally forgot about it, and one of my coworkers got me a box full of Xbox 360 goodies, everything from pedals to Kinect, anything, and with 25 plus games. So I was like, I never had an Xbox before and I haven't played Halo 3, so that's the game I played this week. So at the startup of the game there are a couple of options, but I went with the campaign settings because I'm not sure how the Xbox Live works. So I started up, there's a text crawl, and the bad guys, an alien race called the Covenant, are winning a war between them and the humans, and it seems like a suicide mission. So then there is an awkward, stiff cutscene where the good guys are on this ship, and you play the rookie in this scenario, and you are launched down to the surface of a new Mombasa, or more or less you're crash landing with your pod. So the first chapter is called The Rookie, and you wake up in your pod and it's basically the tutorial section where you learn how to play, how to use the map and trackers, and combat and stuff. So you're on the streets and you walk around, and it isn't that clear where you're supposed to go. It's a big map, but you get trackers eventually and learn how to use them, and there's some firefights and you learn how to use your guns, and this game has a bit of auto aim, which I'm not a big fan out of. So the second chapter is called Buck. So you play as another character in the team, and this chapter is a bit brighter than the first one because the first one took place during the nighttime, I believe. So you're here to find Dare's crash pod, and she's like one of the female characters. So one of the things I hate about this map was the enemies that have shields. They're kind of brutes. They're basically bullet sponges. So eventually you find a pod and you get saved by a character called Romeo, I believe. So the third chapter is called Dutch. So you start on a beach and you're supposed to locate some friendlies. And you go down and you eventually find them, you give them some cover support, and you get into a Warthog, I believe the vehicle is called. So later you traverse the stage and you get like a hovercraft, and this stage is heavily based on vehicular combat. So that's all you do, you just shoot down things, you go through barricades, shoot down enemies, that's all you do. And the enemy AI isn't that bright. I don't know, maybe it's something to do with the difficulty, but there must be harder difficulties where they're a lot smarter. I hope so, at least. So the point of this mission is to locate the kernel, but you really don't, and there's like a crash cutscene at the end of the chapter. So the next chapter is called Mickey, so there's more street fighting. You eventually get into a tank where you shoot down everything, and you just go through the streets until you reach Dutch, and there's like a defensive position that you have to defend, and that's more or less that. So I know the game kind of drags on, but that's how far I got this week, so yeah. So gameplay. Go through the streets of Mombasa with your different characters you can play as and play out the events of the war. Control. The Y button changes weapons. The X button uses the visor, which is useful to locate and see things in the dark. The A button jumps, and the B button is melee with any kind of weapon. Up on the D-pad activates the markers on and off. The left stick moves the character and the right stick is aim. And R1 is the trigger. Graphics. So the cutscenes look a bit weird, they're a little bit, stiff and stuff, but otherwise the game looks kind of good. I know the texture resolution isn't top notch, but it's fine for what it is. I can't say anything bad about it. Sound and music. Martin O'Donnell and Michael Salvatore made the tracks for this game, and I like it. There's some ambient tracks, and it reminds me a bit of Perfect Dark with the kind of suspenseful music parts. Easter eggs, secrets, and glitches. So there are a couple of secrets in this game that I know of, but the one most controversial are the glyphs. Throughout the game, these glyphs are displayed on the walls when you use your visor, and I don't know if they crack the symbol and the codes and what they mean, but they're out there. And then there's a funny thing where there's like an arrow that leads off a ledge to your death, but if you jump off the ledge and turn around and look at the wall, there's a smiley there for no reason, like a spray-painted smiley. And in one of the cutscenes, there's like a guy smoking a cigar. You can pan to the left, and there's no indication of this, but there's like a a monkey sitting there, and it's like, what? I think there was like an Easter egg in another Halo game about monkeys, if I'm not mistaken. So in conclusion, I wrote, yes, try it if you haven't. I played a bit of Halo 1 and 2 on the original Xbox, and as I said, I never had an Xbox 360 growing up, so this is all new water for me to thread. So the negative thing about the game, it felt a little bit clunky, and I might be spoiled with modern FPS games because this is a bit old. 2009 is way back for me at least. So I mean, I think the game still holds up and everything, and if you haven't tried it, give it a try. So anyway, thanks for listening and or watching, and take care.